Welcome to Lesson 5, Topic 3. In this video, we're going to see how we can use the light sensor to control the number of neopixels that get turned on, almost like a light meter. So let's get to it. So let's do a quick demonstration of what we're looking at. So right now you see that one neopixel is turned on. I want the circuit playground to serve as a light meter that as more light is present, the number of neopixels increases. So notice it's very dynamic. And the reason for that is that the light sensor is very dynamic. The values change very frequently depending on the external stimulus. So let's open up our program and let's start to explore this. So I already have some base code here. I have a variable light because we are working with the light sensor, and I've brought in the value from the light sensor into the variable. Have our basic for loop that starts at 0 and goes all the way to 10. Now from experience at this point, you should realize that if we do that, all the neopixels are turning on. But that's not what we want. We saw in the previous video that if we simply replace the 10 with a variable, now we have the capability of changing how much the for loop runs, which in turn changes how many neopixels are turned on. What we want to do now is somehow connect the value of last with the value that we're getting from the light sensor. In order to do that, we have to investigate a little bit. So let's do a serial print line, and let's just see what kind of values we're getting from the light sensor. Let's go ahead and run this. And let's pull up the camera as well. So you can see here we're getting very low numbers. Now I'm going to bring an external source in, external light source, and let's see how the numbers change. So you can see here the numbers are changing, they're increasing, they're increasing, they're increasing, up until the point that if we really get right on top of it, we're going to get numbers close to 1,000. Well, you know what? I don't want to interact with it like that. I want to be able to accept light sources that are about this distance. So you can see here we got numbers such as 90, 80, 70, 60, even even lower as I go further away. So we need to somehow convert these numbers into something that we can put here. Now what are acceptable numbers here in order to use this in conjunction with the set pixel color? Well, if we put a 10 here, we get all the neopixels. If we put 8, we get 8 neopixels. If we get 6, we get 6 neopixels. So somehow we have to change that range of numbers that we were getting from here, at least the ones we want to work with, that started around like 12, I think we saw, and we're going to go up to only the 100. I'm not going to get right on top of it. So we want to take these values and somehow change it into something that ranges from 0 to 10. All right, so let's put our math hats on. We definitely want something like this. The value of last is dependent somehow on the value of light. But the thing is, these numbers don't work. So let's think, how can we get 100 to look like a 10? And let me change this up. Let's say the 12, and I'm going to clean this up a little bit more so hopefully it becomes a little more obvious. We want a value of 10 to become a 1. Well, if we simply took the light level and divided it by 10, we would actually get that. And for that, let me go ahead and print out, and let me do this as a couple of print statements here. Serial print, let's put a little space in between. And then let's do a serial print line of last. Let's run this. All right, so you can see here, here's the current light level. So we got 13, but then the value of last is 1. And you can see here we get 1 neopixel. Now I'm going to bring an external light source in. So remember, the first number is the actual value from the light sensor. So there you go. You can see here the light sensor is reading 20, 26, 28, 27. It's fluctuating. But when we divide that by 10, we're simply getting 2. And now that second number, remember that second number is last. That is what's being used to control the for loop. So we can now control the for loop using the light sensor. And again, we've essentially created a light meter, something that measures the amount of light in a room. Now, as kind of like a extension, further exploration, if you want to do this on your own, what are some of the other sensors that also work like that? Well, think about it. The temperature sensor works that way too. It's also analog. Again, you'll have to investigate a little bit of the range and see what's suitable for your needs. The sound sensor also works that way. So again, you could do something similar to this where you have a sound meter, a temperature meter, a light meter. All right, so let's go back to our presentation and review what we've accomplished today. So in this lesson 5, for loops, topic 3, we saw we can use the light sensor to control the number of neopixels. We did have to do a little transformation of those values from the light sensor where they range from 0 to 1,000. In our case, we were just focusing on the values from 0 to 100. And we had to divide the values by 10 in order to make it an appropriate piece of information to use in conjunction with the for loop. All right, so hopefully you're excited that you can actually start creating things with the Circuit Playground Express. Enjoy.